It's the TEFL Express podcast, brought to you by TEFL Express, your partner in the world of teaching English as a foreign language. For all the latest and greatest in the world of TEFL training and materials, please visit our website at teflexpress.co.uk. Enjoy the show!
Hi, I'm Adam, and this is the TEFLCast, and today we have a special guest. Can you please introduce yourself?
My name is Julian. I'm from the U.S.A., from Vermont.
Julian, what are you currently doing in Beijing?
I own and operate a bagel place called TEFL and Bagels with my two partners. We have been doing this for about 7.5 months now. Yeah, we came up with the idea probably getting closer to 1.5 years, 2 years ago, and then we started to put it into a play about 7-8 months ago.
So how long have you actually been in China, and what made you initially come here in the first place?
This summer will be 7 years in China in total. And the thing that attracted me to China was, I suppose it probably started with Japan. When I was a kid, I came from a really small town in rural Vermont, and they used to have a exchange program with Japanese students at our school. And one Japanese student actually lived with us for a while. A couple Korean students lived with us, and I just kind of got really interested in Asia. And I don't know, they had a lot of things that were hard not to get interested in for a kid, like anime and just, I don't know, weird rice snacks and just stuff. So, I was always kind of interested in Asia because of that, I suppose, and also because it could not be any more different than rural Vermont.
Right.
It was a different world.
One thing that always appealed to me about Asia was just the amount of culture and history, versus the West, like especially North America. I mean, our country is how young? I can't even say how old. We're so young that we don't really have a proper history and culture yet compared to, the Eastern world.
Yeah, completely agreed. And I think, I remember being a little kid and asking my mom, because I always like castles and stuff like that, even the Asian version, European version. Right. I remember asking my mom as a little kid, why don't we have any castles? And she was like, well, none of these Europeans were here at that time, so we don't have anything that's old. Yeah, right. I totally agree. Yeah, the oldness or the differentness and the kind of, it just seemed magical, And then, so I guess, like you're saying, there was always sort of a general interest. And then when I got to university, I didn't really know what I wanted to study necessarily. And then I was interested in history and started a class in Chinese history because it was, you had to do these survey courses in different fields. I think it was literally day one of Chinese history class that I was sold. It was modern Chinese history. And and I had no idea about this whole Chinese economic miracle and all this kind of stuff that everybody else seemed to have already been clicked onto. I literally had no idea. And then in the first class, they showed us this little movie or something that explained what was happening here. And it was just like, wow, what am I doing sitting here in New York? Right. When I could be over there doing something interesting. Mm-hmm. And then, maybe, have you read the book Rivertown before? I haven't, no. It's, have you heard of it? I haven't. It's a book by this guy named Peter Hessler, and he came to China. I forget when he came exactly, late 90s or early 2000s. And he lived in this city, and he was teaching English in China. And basically, he lived here for 2 years and kind of wrote about his experience at the time. And it really, when we read that book in that same class, that was when it all of a sudden clicked. It was like, I'd always been interested in teaching personally, just anything. I like teaching as a field. This book was like, okay, now not only is China interesting, but here's a way to get to China where it ticks a lot of the boxes in terms of interest, but it's also like, you're not just floating around there wondering what to do, and you don't have to go and study Chinese only. You can actually contribute or do something. Right. And in the book it was saying, that it's a fairly easy job to get here, and it's well paid for this context,
right?
And you can get it straight out of university.
Right.
I mean, at the time, you could get a decent visa straight out of university, no problem.
And a high demand, like you say too, like where in your or anybody's particular field they study, the demand might not be that high.
Yes, exactly.
In their home country at that time anyway. So
and also that is in demand, but also that you straight out of university at 22 years of age, I could have a job that in this society was pretty well respected.
Right.
Sometimes you don't always feel the respect in the classroom, but at least if you meet people and you tell them what you do and you say you're a teacher, it feels nice. And my jobs before then, it was like horrible. The best one was probably working at a video store. And being a cleaner. We built swimming pools and gardening and mowing them. It's horrible.
Right. You don't feel the same sort of reward.
Yeah. Oh no. Almost no. The closest I ever had in a previous job was the reward of finishing something.
Right.
But never these kind of teaching. On a bad day, it might be really boring, but on a good day, students, things click, people learn things. I mean,
that's right.
It's cool.
To me, I always found teaching the biggest reward was seeing that moment of realization in the student's face when whatever the point or topic you're teaching actually clicks, and you can see they're no longer struggling to grasp the concept being taught. They actually grasped it, and you can instantly see when that happens. And I always found that very rewarding. And
especially your part in that process where the first time you explained it didn't make any sense, and then you try a different angle, and then you're breaking it down and simplifying it, and then finally you find the way that makes sense to them. Right. So it's kind of like you also learned in that moment because you learned how to help somebody understand something.
Exactly.
That was probably obvious to you.
Right. You're absolutely helping yourself become a better teacher at the same time.
So that book, I'd be lying if I said that book didn't change my life. And it's not just me. A lot of people that I know that moved here, maybe not because of that book, but it was a major influence because, again, it was a way to get to China.
Right. So, you already had the ambition, but, upon reading that particular book, it made you realize the way to see your ambition to fruition.
And also, I think, people can have as many goals as they want at any time, and you can be striving for any number of goals at any time, and it's fine, and if you feel satisfied and fulfilled, that's wonderful, And for me, I felt since that first sort of understanding in history class of what is happening generally in China, what are the cultural changes, what are the economic changes here. From that moment, I felt like there was this overarching goal of I want to be part of that. I want to start a business there, or I want to work for a business, or I want in on that.
Right.
But also, for me personally, another goal was that I'd always wanted to be a teacher. And it seems, it might seem like teaching skills are only for the classroom, but I will tell you, the things I learned in the classroom, over 5.5 years. Well, I mean, I still teach a little bit now, so over 7 years almost.
Right, and going strong.
Yeah, I use these every single day. The idea of taking complicated things, making them simple, trying to be as clear as possible, helping people instead of telling them what to do, like we do with our, the people that work with us now at the bakery. All these skills. I mean, or just even language teaching skills, literally communicating with people, things like that.
Right.
All these skills, I use them every single day, and I don't know. I owe a lot of that to teaching, I think.
Right. Well, they are essential skills, in my opinion, and to me, you're saying right now is proof of that. They're essential skills that help day-to-day life, and not only day-to-day life, but like you said, also your livelihood.
Yeah.